Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is Dylan Talk Sports. My name is Dylan. In this video, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be discussing the Cleveland Browns game against the Indianapolis Colts, which was... I just don't understand why the Browns have to give me heart attacks. There were highs, there were lows. Deshaun Watson got injured. The defense didn't play the way we expected them to, but they still got so many turnovers. There was like so many things going wrong there. The offense didn't play amazing, but they also didn't play all horrible. They played okay. And somehow throughout all the craziness, we came away with a 39-38 victory. So what I'm going to do as a Browns fan is kind of give you my POV and a walkthrough of the entire game, kind of from start to finish of my emotions, kind of how they were going in the game, and then take you through some of the bullet points I want to kind of cover for this game. So without further ado, if you're going to enjoy, as always, make sure you do drop a like. And without further ado, let's get into it. So let's kind of go ahead and start with for the first half. First half, a lot of fucking action. So as you can see right here, we got the whole game cast and the whole summary of the whole entire score. I want to kind of walk you through all the quarters and kind of what my emotions were like. First quarter, first drive, third and I believe like 8. We handed off Jerome Ford and he is like shot out of a cannon. He's down the field. I am hot right there. Not hot with anger, hot with happiness. And in that moment, I'm thinking, oh my God, if we are scoring like this and our defense, the way they've been playing, this is going to be an easy fucking victory. Now, like I said, in that moment, I'm thinking, oh my God, we have the best defense in the league. We should be able to win. What do we do with the very second drive that the Colts get? They come out there, 59-yard pass, and it wasn't even a good, like, play. I think the Browns just, they stopped trying. It was on like a 3rd and 4, 3rd and 7, I think a 3rd and 7, and Myles, he accidentally jumped offside. Garret, he was doing this a lot in the game. He was doing the hard count. We were jumping off sides quite a bit. And it felt like every single time we were jumping off sides, we just stopped. Because we thought, okay, we jumped off sides, encroachment, offsides, penalties, whatever. They're going to blow the whistle. They're going to call it dead. They weren't calling it dead. So it was like in that moment, we were thinking, okay, stop. Play's dead. Let's just start over. But no, Colts kept on playing. We did not. And in that moment, I think Josh Downs went down the sideline. He was wide open. I think Greg Newsome or Martin Emerson, they were on him. And they just stopped as well, and then they tried to chase him down, but by then it was too late. Gardet hit the touchdown, easy 7 points. Next up, we had the run game. The run game was killing us, and this kind of goes throughout the whole entire game, especially with Gardet. He was hitting that read option like it was nothing. Read option was no problem for him. He had 2 rushing touchdowns, and he was juking the hell out of our DBs. Like, there was a couple of times where we had an easy tackle where all you had to do was just get him at the legs, and he would hit the little ooh, and he'd be going right around you. Now, when it comes to the Browns, I mean, you can see they were getting the ball, they were running the ball. They didn't really go fully away from the run game, because they had to, obviously, I'll get into it in a minute, Deshaun Watson went out. Kind of moving on, we got to about the third quarter. It was just back and forth the entire game. But then when we got to the fourth quarter, this is where it got interesting. Indianapolis got a field goal. We got a field goal. That 58-yard field goal, I'm still confused what the hell we were doing. Because we got the ball at like the 40-yard line, I believe, and we didn't do anything with it. Like, we got the ball down to about the 40, and then I think we went pass, pass, pass. Nothing, nothing, nothing. We got the field goal, and I'm thinking in that moment, okay, about 6 minutes and a half, to go, we can do this. Defense, let's make a stop. And what did they do? You can read it right there. 2 plays. I think they literally just 1 touchdown. It took 10 seconds. Gardner threw the ball up the middle of the seam, got to Michael Pittman Jr. He caught the ball, and I think like 5 different Browns players tried to tackle him. Every single one of them just bounced off of him like he was made of jelly. He took off down the field. He had a deuce sign. He got penalized on it, which I'm still confused why the Browns took that on the extra point and not the kickoff, because you could have made a shorter field for yourself to possibly try to run back. And then the last drive of the game. I'm going to say it now. PJ Walker, he did his thing. PJ Walker was not really asked to do much. He was asked to just hit your throws, stay in stride, don't do too much, and we got the job done with that. That 1-yard touchdown run at the end, it was close, and there were some questionable calls, which I will get into them in a minute, but a win is a win. Now let's kind of go through a bunch of the different bullet points that I kind of want to discuss. First up, when it comes to the defense, what in the fuck is wrong with your tackling? You guys couldn't tackle to save your life. Like I said on that last touchdown the Colts made, there was no tackling there. When it came to stopping the run, especially when it comes to tackling, we couldn't stop Jonathan Taylor or Zach Moss. I mean, you can see the rushing right here. Jonathan Taylor, 18 rushes for 75 yards. Zach Moss, 18 rushes for 57 yards. Gardner, hell, he had 3 rushes for 29 yards. 2 of the rushes were for a touchdown. The other rush, I believe, was for just like a little 6-yard scramble. Side note, thing that kind of sucked, that I kind of pissed me off. Jonathan Taylor, the past few games, I think he had like 15 total carries between the last 2 games combined. This game, we hear that Shane Steichen, the head coach of the Colts, is like, yep, today we're going to give Jonathan Taylor a big load. he's going to be getting some touches today. Why does it feel like every time it comes to a team playing the Browns, that's where they're like, yep, we got to throw everything in the kitchen sink. Everybody that was hurt before, you're playing today. You got to go today. Now, when it comes to the defense, I'm not saying they completely sucked today. They had their moments. Coming into the game, I believe they only had like 4 turnovers for the first 5 games, which I think was like tied for like 29th or 30th in the league. It's kind of weird to say when you have a great defense statistically through the first 5 games and not having that many turnovers. And in this game, read the number down there. They were turning that ball over like it was nothing. When it was the Browns 7, Colts 14, Colts had the ball. What happened? Strip sack. Gardner Minshew's kind of running with it, and he gets the ball swatted out of his hand. It's a fumble. It's Browns ball. We went down and got a touchdown. Then later on, you probably saw it in the game cast, or if you watched the game, you saw it. The Colts were in their own end zone at near the end. I think it was like a minute 30 left to go in the second quarter. Myles Garrett's lined up on the right side of the line. He just completely strips and sheds that right tackle, gets up to Gardner Minshew, and just chops his hand off. Ball goes flying. Tony Fields jumped the ball. Touchdown Browns. 2 very crucial fumbles that helped us out. The third fumble, that was at the end of the game whenever there was like 12 seconds to go. Minshew just trying to do anything. Zadarius Smith smacks the ball out of his hands. It's a fumble. Game over. And then whenever it comes to the interception, I believe Denzel Ward was the one who got the interception. It seemed like the entire game, the Colts, they were trying to do almost like this read option. Read the end. Let them run the ball. And when the receiver can get open downfield, Gardner Minshew can kind of roll out and he can hit these little crossing slant routes. When they tried to do this route, Denzel Ward seemed like he was coming up for the run, and then just as he was about to just crash in on the run, try to stop it, he gets back, he sees the receiver coming up over, and he almost like runs the route for the receiver and just jumps right in front of it, snatches the ball out of thin air. It's a pick for us. Now, when you kind of go through and look at the defensive numbers, you're going to look at this and you're going to say, well, the defense, it seems like everybody kind of did their own thing. Everybody kind of played their own game. And I would say you're correct, because it seemed like that's what the game kind of, when you're watching the game, that's what kind of happened. Everybody just kind of played their own game. But one thing the Colts did very well, and I think this is going to be something the Browns struggle with, is fast moving parts. The Colts did it very well, and the Ravens also did it earlier on the year. When you have an offense that moves very fast, pieces moving left to right, pulling guards, receivers running in motion, maybe running back coming in motion, pieces going everywhere, that kind of is not something we like to see. We like to make a team be dropping balls on first down, going nowhere on second down, whether it be drop pass or just running nowhere and getting stopped in the backfield, and then forcing a team to have to just drop back passing, standard drop back passing, and let our front four eat. And we couldn't really get Indianapolis into any of those situations yesterday. Staying with the defense, I want to talk about the King, Jurassic Park, Myles Garrett. 9 total tackles, 7 solo tackles, 2 sacks, 1 being a strip sack that made a touchdown, 1 tackle for loss, a pass deflection that, how in the world, I think it was Sheldon Richardson. Dude, look up. When you hear, you need to look up, because you know that ball just got tipped. Like, I'm not even kidding. The ball got tipped. The ball's in the air. Myles Garrett, I think he even tried to turn around and try to run for it. And Sheldon Richardson, he's like running, and the ball is literally hovering above his head. All he has to do is just look up and stick his hands out, and he catches it. But no, he had no clue where it was. The ball hit the ground, and I'm just sitting there thinking, fuck. He also had 2 other quarterback hits, and let's pad the stats a little more. He had a blocked field goal. I don't know about you, but Myles Garrett's probably getting drug tested as we speak. When it comes to the front four of the Cleveland Browns, they played good. I mean, they were getting pressure. It just seemed like they couldn't stop the run. That was the problem the whole game. The secondary, they didn't play the best. That boy Downs for Indianapolis, he was running free. I mean, hell, Michael Pittman, besides that 1 giant touchdown he didn't really do anything else. Alec Pierce, he had 2, I think, back shoulder kind of throws. Other than that, he wasn't really getting open. Josh Downs was the only one kind of getting open, and it's because he was just getting kind of misjudged by the secondary, and they were like not reading it correctly. There was one point where he just had like a sail route, I believe, and he kind of like did a fake drag with another receiver, and both corners, they were going with the drags, and then he just kind of like whipped right back out on the sail, and he's wide open down there. So when it comes to the defense moving forward, they need to learn to stop the run, and they got to get better with these moving parts when it's motioning left, right, pulling people from the offensive line all over the place. If they don't get better at that, it's going to be a long season. Now let's move on to the offense. Let's get to the big one. Deshaun Watson. He throws an interception on his second drive of the game. Don't know what he was throwing it to. And then he comes back out there on his next drive, the third drive of the game, and he has a chance to, I think, get Elijah Moore in the center field. The announcer said he had Elijah Moore open in the center field for like about a second or two, but then he didn't hit him because he was like scrambling around the pocket. He gets out of the pocket. He goes out and he tries to throw the ball somewhere else. Ultimately, it gets intercepted, it gets reviewed, not intercepted. But whenever he throws the ball, he gets shoved and he goes down the ground, whacks the back of his head. Medical staff said it's not a concussion. They ran through concussion protocol, said not a concussion, he's good. But the report was he cannot lift his shoulder, or well, lift his arm. And that was his problem coming into this game. He had the micro tear in his subscapulus, I believe. He couldn't really lift his arm. Coming into the game, he could lift his arm a lot better. He had the motion back, but he was just still a little bit sore. He decided to give it a go. He plays, and then after this injury, with, I believe, was supposed to be a concussion, like I said, and then they confirmed not to be a concussion, now he's not even playing the rest of the game. Fast forward to the end of the game, Kevin Stefanski in the press conference, he said, yeah, Deshaun's good. We just decided I'm going to rest my franchise quarterback in this game. I wanted to protect him, keep him from getting hurt anymore, but he's going to be the starter next week. But then when you talk to Deshaun Watson, he said in his press conference, it was a medical decision to not let him play this game. So now we have like this beef going on that I've already discussed in another video, where it's like, you have all this beef going on of one person says medical, one person says they said not to play. And then my only question with Kevin is, if he's already, basically you're confirming saying he's going to be there in Seattle, he's going to play that game, he's starting, why didn't he play in this game? And then it kind of comes to a question of Deshaun, if you were still a little bit sore in this game and now you're being told that basically by medical staff that you shouldn't be playing the rest of this game, why did you even play in this game at all? I mean, now we're looking in hindsight of like, yeah, well look, we won the game. Well, you didn't know that coming into the game, but like now that we look at it in this picture of, hey, we won the game without him, why didn't he just sit this entire game, keep getting healthy, come back next week against Seattle, and probably be a fully 100% healthy Deshaun Watson? I don't know, there's just like a lot of drama going on there. But when we look at the offense in total, running the ball, they did good. 150 yards rushing, they did good. Jerome Ford was running the ball. He had that big run at the beginning of the game, but other than that, he slowed down a little bit. Kareem Hunt, he came in, had a couple of nice runs, got the 2 touchdowns. Pierre Strong, he had a couple of decent runs. Marquise Goodwin had the jet sweep. I was hoping he would have got the touchdown on his. And then looking at PJ Walker, here's the thing that I'm confused about. With PJ Walker and Deshaun Watson, their play styles. They play the same kind of ball, it seems like. Deshaun Watson just plays at like a whole nother level than PJ Walker does, obviously. It just feels like with PJ Walker, when he goes out there, they're just asking him to do the little things. Do the little things right. 5-yard routes. Hand it off. Make the easy throws. When Deshaun Watson goes out there, it's like, okay, man, you're being paid a lot of money. You're an elite guy. I'm going to give you some elite type throws. I'm going to need you to do some crazy good plays. And it feels like when Deshaun Watson was asked to just do some nice, easy things, basically like the Tennessee game, he looked awesome. I don't know. That's just a little thing I'm kind of thinking about. Like, it just feels like if they were to give Deshaun Watson those like easy throws like they're giving PJ Walker, I feel like Deshaun could get those balls out and then he would look average like PJ Walker did. All you really need Deshaun Watson to do in a game, and they say this a lot about a lot of other quarterbacks like Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Trevor Lawrence. They don't need you to be Superman. We don't need you to be Mahomes. We need you to be Deshaun Watson. Go out there, make the throws we're asking you to do, but maybe 4 or 5 times a game, we're going to need you to make a wicked 20-yard throw, a crazy 15-yard throw that needs to be put in line with a receiver, maybe a nice 50-yard bomb that needs to be dropped in the breadbasket. You might have 3, 4, 5 throws like that, but we're not asking you to be Superman all the time. Now, when it comes to PJ Walker and his performance today, he did pretty good. I mean, when you watch the game, you're going to say he did pretty good. When you look at the stats, you're going to say he did average, but I think he did good. Like I said, they didn't ask him to do a lot, but he did his thing. And the biggest thing was that last drive of the game. He was able to lead this team down the field, get down the end zone. 2 more things I want to kind of discuss. When we got down there, I believe it was like 3rd and 7 or 2nd down or something like that. I think we were at like the 10-yard line or like the 15-yard line. We had the ball. PJ Walker's backing up, and then he goes to throw it. The ball gets knocked out. We never saw a full review to see like if it was a fumble, wasn't a fumble, was it an incomplete pass, not. We never got a full review to see 100% what it was. Because Colts fans in the stadiums, whenever that happened, PJ Walker supposedly fumbles the ball. It goes on the ground. Colts pick it up. They think the game's over. But then a late marker gets thrown down, and it gets confirmed illegal contact on the defense because Amari Cooper was kind of running like a deep out route. He gets kind of held up on his legs. It gets called illegal contact. There's some people saying bad call. Some people saying good call. I've seen a couple analysts saying that is actually a decent call. I mean, it's illegal contact. What are you going to do? So you have 1st and goal at like 8-yard line, I think. Then on the very next play, Donovan Peoples-Jones goes like a back shoulder throw. He goes into the back of the end zone. PJ Walker throws the ball. I'm a Browns fan, and sometimes I like free penalties to go against the other team and help us, but that was a bullshit call. I mean, you can kind of see what's going on here. This is the first play. He gets the ball knocked out of his hand. It's supposed to be a fumble. Like I said, illegal contact. I'm going to take it. But yeah, you can see here, Amari Cooper kind of goes in. He gets gripped up. Amari Cooper looks like he kind of shoved him a little bit. But, I mean, from what the rules analyst in this game said, he said illegal contact. So I'm going to take it. Right here, you can see that ball is not going to be caught. It was never going to be caught. but they throw the flag. I think, in a way, that was kind of bullshit. That was kind of bullshit. Man, you can see right here. Could Donovan Peoples-Jones have gotten to the back of the end zone and leaped for that ball? He could have, but I don't think he was catching it. Now, before anybody says the Browns cheated, they shouldn't have been given those penalties, refs against Colts, take a look at these pictures. Right here, one time where the Browns were screwed over by the refs. This referee is looking down the ground saying, yup, the Redskins at the time, they have the ball, they got the ball. Why is over here, this Browns player, look at the arm. He has the ball literally right there, but they called that Redskins ball. Oh yes, this one here, when he had the penalty, not called. Rashard Higgins goes to leap the ball in the end zone, head-to-head contact to knock the ball out of the end zone, gets called touchback. Thorson, I don't think, is in the league anymore. People knew after that moment, okay, this guy is just a dirty player, because even after this game, there was a couple other games in this future where all he did was just head-to-head contact, and people got to understand, yeah, I think he's a dirty player. This one here too, you will know who this was called on? Not the Chargers. This was the Browns getting called defensive PI. To see the Browns player that's falling down, barely even holding onto the guy. One hand's trying to swat the ball away, the other hand's barely even touching the guy, and the Chargers guy has a whole type of grip on the Browns jersey. But was this called offense PI? No, it was called defensive PI. And then a recent memory, this one here, where Amari Cooper catches the ball right about there, and then he goes step, 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 and then he goes inside. Nowhere did he touch the white line, but is called out of bounds. So before any of you, and I know they're probably already talking about this on all the national media, saying, did the Colts get robbed? The Browns cheated. The Colts should have won this game. The Browns always get somebody. How I know somebody's gonna say some bullshit about the Browns always get the call. The Browns have never gotten the calls. We deserve this one. Last thing, I'm gonna kind of wrap it up with this. Dustin Hopkins, amazing kicking. I want to salute Andrew Berry for taking his ego out of things, because if he didn't get rid of Cade York and we still had him, we lose this game. Like 1000% we lose this game. He went 5 of 5 for kicks. 5 of 5. 15 points. I'm gonna leave it off with this. PJ Walker, he did his thing. Myles Garret, Jurassic fucking Myles, saved the day. Browns defense does need to get better when it comes to stopping the run and getting better at the fast moving offenses, like I said. And Dustin Hopkins, I love you. Please keep making your kicks. But other than that, that's all I got to discuss for today's video. Hopefully you guys did go on to enjoy today's video. If you did, make sure you go ahead and drop a like. If you wanted to watch the entirety of today's video, thank you very much. And you had a different opinion on kind of how the game went, if you're a Browns fan or a fan of any other team, and you watched this game and you kind of had an opinion on kind of how the game went, if you want to voice your opinion on that bullshit pass interference call at the end of the game, and you want to leave your opinion down in the comment section down below, feel free to do so. Let me know your opinion on kind of how the whole game went. If you're a fan of the content that I am posting here and you want to go ahead and hit that big red subscribe button, feel free to do so, and do not forget to hit that little notification bell to be notified the second I post. But without further ado, this has been Dylan Talk Sports. Have a great rest of your day. Peace.